In this video, I'll show you January 15th, 2020. Auditor DJ Gear began to film the Odell Oil Company in Belton, South Carolina, while walking around a grass shoulder located just outside the property. While Mr. Gear did not step onto the oil company's property, he filmed through a chain-link fence despite no trespassing signs that prohibited photographing and otherwise recording the facility. After Mr. Gear filmed for a few minutes, two individuals stepped out of an oil company building, walked over to the fence, and began to speak to Mr. Gear.
The whole facility? Well, both of them, really. Get some information on them. I'm sorry, brother. I can't hear you.
What kind of information you need?
A whole lot of information, honestly. A whole lot of it.
We need to know what you're looking for.
Say what?
We can't just give out our information.
Oh, no. I didn't have any questions about it towards y'all. I can kind of find out what I need out this way. Who are you?
I'm an operator here.
Operator here. What's your name?
So that's irrelevant.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Cav, your name?
It's irrelevant also.
Okay. I was just asking.
Yeah.
Hold on,
I'm
we'll call the cops.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Private property.
Yeah. Inside the fence is.
Yeah, what you need pictures for?
You said what I need pictures for? Well, I can't say it right now because it's not published. But you can call the people. That's fine. Okay. I'll be along the way somewhere. I'll be along the road somewhere. I didn't drive. I'm a step ahead of everybody. But I'll be along here somewhere. I'm not leaving. I'm just walking. I promise I'll be in the area. And when they come out, can y'all come back out, please? Thank you. So he didn't want to give his name. But we're here. And they say it's private property, but that is a public utility right here and there. But they're gonna call the police. So we're gonna hang out until they...
Mr. Gear that they are on private property, seemingly implying that Mr. Gear cannot film it, and Mr. Gear reminds him that only the land inside the fence is private property. Under Section 16-11-620 of the South Carolina Code of Laws, an individual commits trespassing if they enter into the dwelling house, place of business, or on the premises of another person after having been warned not to do so, or if they fail and refuse to leave immediately upon being ordered or requested to do so by the person in possession or their agent or representative. However, this statute only applies to physical intrusions onto property, and as long as Mr. Gear remained on public property, he could not be charged with trespassing for simply filming private property, even though the oil company's no trespassing signs prohibited recording the facility. While a no trespassing sign can serve as notice that entry to a property is forbidden, it cannot transform an otherwise legal activity into a criminal offense by simply claiming that such conduct is forbidden. Likewise, the fact that the oil company claimed that filming was prohibited using a no trespassing sign does not make filming activities on the property trespassing, because the actions that constitute trespassing are determined by state law and not an individual property owner's preferences. Therefore, a court would almost certainly conclude that Mr. Gear was not breaking any laws by filming the activities occurring on private property from a public vantage point. So, they decided to send somebody
here to talk to me, all right? It's actually about to start raining. I wonder if he's gonna get out the vehicle. It's finna start raining, which is the crazy part. So I'm actually going to get soaking wet. But I'm in Belton, South Carolina at the oil company on a road here, 33 feet from the center line of the road. I have their property line in my phone, and there are public utilities all right here. Some are in their property, some are right here, which is outside of the fence, and their trespassing signs are on the fence, which is beyond me. It's very beyond me.
Mr. Gear informs his audience that he has the oil company's property line on his phone, and he later states that he reviewed the GIS data before coming to film, and that he has remained outside the borders of the oil company's property while recording .GIS, or Geographic Information Systems data, is any information that is derived from a computer system that is specifically designed to capture, store, and display data associated with geographic locations on Earth's surface, according to the National Geographic Resource Library. Quote, "Many different types of information can be compared and contrasted using GIS, for instance. A system can include data about people, such as population, income, or education level, information about the landscape, such as the location of streams, different kinds of vegetation and different kinds of soil, and information about the sites of factories, farms, schools, storm drains, roads, and electric power lines." In the U.S., some amount of GIS data is publicly available online for most states. The GIS data for Anderson County, South Carolina, where the oil company is located, includes the parcel divisions of land and property ownership, and it shows that the oil company's property line appears to align with the fencing, just as Mr. Gear argued. Let's go talk to him.
And then here comes his buddy down here in the truck. Let me get this thing. All right, brother, how you doing? Just filming, and I'm trying to figure out why they're following me around here, and I can't figure it out.
Well, kind of somebody suspicious.
Well, that's fine. But you know, you're allowed to take my picture also. That's totally fine. Now, whether or not you can get it, that's between you and your camera. But that guy here has been following me around, and then you came out here to take my picture. If you turn your phone the other way, you get a better picture. Turn it sideways. No, turn your phone sideways. That's right. I can't. But I'm trying to figure out why y'all are following me. It's like nobody here understands the rights that I have granted to me under the First Amendment. That's what's crazy. You know, this is all public property right here.
Yeah, no, this is state property.
Which is public. State property is tax funded, which makes it public.
What are you trying to do?
So my tax dollars, your tax dollars pay for it.
Well, I mean, it's suspicious. We had to report it and call in, so.
I mean, that's fine. And again, I told the people over here to call the police, that's fine. I don't mind talking to them. But you see that public utility right there? If I want to walk all the way to that pole and record this property, I can because the city put that.
Mr. Gear claims that because the city owns the utility poles, they indicate that he is on public property. While it seems that Mr. Gear is correct that he is on public property based on GIS data, it is important to note that the government does not have to actually possess the title to a parcel of land in order to place a road or public utilities on a public right-of-way. The South Carolina Department of Transportation right-of-way. Acquisition Manual explains that government rights-of-way can be obtained via several different methods, such as maintaining title to the real property itself, or acquiring an easement which grants the public the right to use the road while the property owner maintains the title to the parcel. The government can also acquire a utility easement that allows it to run utilities such as power lines over private property. Therefore, while some utility poles may be placed on government-owned property, they cannot be used as a reliable indicator as to whether or not an individual is standing on public property. As we have discussed many times on ATA, public rights-of-ways, such as streets and sidewalks, are considered to be, as the Supreme Court described in the 1990 case of United States v. Coquinda, quote, quintessential examples of a public forum to which the public generally has unconditional access and which have immemorially been held in trust for the use of the public and have been used for purposes of assembly, communicating thoughts between citizens, and discussing public questions. The court went on to explain that, quote, public parks, streets, and sidewalks are public forums because open access by all members of the public is integral to their function as central gathering places and arteries of transportation. For the most part, on streets and sidewalks, communication between citizens can be permitted according to the principle that one who is rightfully on a street which the state has left open to the public carries with him as elsewhere the constitutional right to express his views in an orderly fashion. In this situation, because the area directly surrounding a paved road is generally considered to be part of the street in First Amendment analysis, it is probable that a court would determine that the public property, which Mr. Gear was filming, was also a public forum. I don't mean anybody no harm. I don't have my gun on me. My intentions is, I just want again. I don't see these every day, so I stopped to take pictures of all these big oil on wells here because I don't see him every day. But it's like people are freaking out about it over a camera. But y'all have cameras all over y'all facility.
In a different yard camera. I have no problem with that. I don't. I'd be more than glad to talk to him.
Okay.
Thank you for coming out.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Hey, did they call you out here?
They did.
They did? Along this public easement here. And I was taking pictures this way, that way, and back here. And they freaked out. They completely freaked out about it. And they was like, well, I'm gonna call the police. I said, that's fine. I don't mind talking because there's no crime being committed here. They freaked the hell out. These guys here. That guy right there. Hey, come over here, buddy. Yeah, you. Come here, please. I just need you to inform him of the First Amendment that I'm allowed to record here in public, and I can be on my way. That's all I need from you, Officer Parker.
Yep.
Can you please just inform him of my rights through the First Amendment, and I'm on my way. I'm sure y'all have been prompt on it because we sued Anderson a long time ago. I don't mean any hurt, harm, or danger by it, but these guys here completely freaked the hell out, and I don't know why. I just need him to be informed of my First Amendment right, and I can be on my way.
Hang right here.
I'm gonna come across the road because I got to get it on film that you told him for my protection. That's all. I told you I was coming back, buddy. I ain't want to be rude. I just want you to be informed and hear from someone else that I'm completely allowed to do what I'm doing.
So, with him taking pictures, it's not a problem.
Okay.
If he goes on the property, kind of a different story.
We're just going to determine we're on high alert anyway, so we're just making sure. Can you actually put video of me?
I'm allowed to. I tried to tell you that so we can be cordial the first time you saw me.
I'm trying to be cordial with you
Yeah,
earlier.
and I was cordial.
You told us not to worry about what you're doing.
No, I told you that I'm allowed to do what I'm doing. It's all on camera. I can run it back.
Run it back, baby.
It's all on camera. You'll see it on YouTube later, I
Anyway,
promise.
we're
I'm allowed to do what I do. That's all it is. And I wanted her to come tell you because I didn't want you to think I was being a jerk about it. It's completely legal. And y'all have to understand that while in public, you can be filmed. There's no expectation of privacy at all, buddy. At all. And
What can we do? I mean,
Build a brick wall.
If he goes behind the gate, we can put him on trespass from there. But as far as him being out here taking pictures, videoing, I can't really do it.
can't do anything about it. I tried to tell you.
The Anderson County Sheriff's Department arrives on the scene and informs the oil company employees that as long as Mr. Gear did not enter their property, he was well within his rights to film anything that he can capture from public property. Although the Supreme Court has not explicitly ruled that individuals have a First Amendment right to film or photograph in public, it is long held that expressive conduct, such as communicative photography, is protected speech under the First Amendment. In the 1989 case of Texas versus Johnson, the Supreme Court explained that although the First Amendment only directly forbids the government from abridging the freedom of speech, quote, "We have long recognized that its protection does not end at the spoken or written word." However, this does not mean the courts will conclude that all photography and filming is protected under the First Amendment. For instance, in the 2005 case of Porat versus Lincoln Towers Community Association, the Southern District of New York held that, quote, "purely private, recreational, non-communicative photography was not protected by the First Amendment because, quote, "it is well established that in order to be protected under the First Amendment, images must communicate some idea. Without an element of expression, there is no risk to the speaker or creator of art that his or her ideas or messages will be unlawfully extinguished in contravention of the First Amendment." Similarly, in the 2010 case of Larson versus Fort Wayne Police Department, the Northern District of Indiana stated that, quote, "the First Amendment is not implicated because a person uses a camera, but rather, when that camera is used as a means of engaging in protected expressive conduct, or, less commonly, to gather information about what public officials do on public property here, because Mr. Gear indicated that he was filming for publication, a court would likely conclude that he was engaging in expressive conduct that is protected by the First Amendment, and that because he was filming in a public forum, that the state could not restrict his filming unless the restriction served a compelling state interest and was narrowly tailored to meet the needs of that interest.
David, by the way.
Hey, David.
Thank you.
It's nice out here.
It is. That's why I'm out here, actually. I'm about to go jump on my bike. I just tried to help these two gentlemen out here.
Man,
And they didn't want to understand me, so they called this sweet officer right here
Yeah.
and wasted resources when they could have asked me the same question. And I gave them the same answer, but they didn't want to listen to me. So now they're on the internet looking like fools because I tried to tell them. And those weren't my intentions. I tried to walk away, but then I saw her pulling up, and I figured that they called and wasted her sweet time out here. Sorry you had to come out here, Officer Parker.
You're fine. Just do me a favor. Don't go behind the
Oh, I won't. And I told them I have their property line on my phone. I checked the GIS survey. As long as I'm well within public property, it's a public utility pole. There no trespassing prior notice starts on the other side of that fence. I have no plans of breaching their property at all. None.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming out. All right.
Yes, sir.
It was a pleasure having you here. Fellas, I'm sorry about the misunderstanding, but at least now you understand, all right?
You're the same.
After completing his conversation with Officer Parker and the oil company employees on a pleasant note and walking away from the oil company fence, Mr. Gear stopped filming. There was no indication that any additional incidents occurred after Mr. Gear stopped filming, or that he intends to take any further action regarding the interaction. Overall, Deputy Parker gets an A+ for maintaining a professional demeanor throughout the encounter, upholding and enforcing the protections of the First Amendment, and respectfully educating the oil company employees about Mr. Gear's right to film on public property. Even though there was no criminal activity occurring, Deputy Parker took the time to address the workers' concerns and clearly articulate what conduct would violate the trespassing law. The workers demonstrated an obvious misunderstanding of the state's trespassing law and the First Amendment, and instead of expressing irritation or anger at being unnecessarily called to the scene, Deputy Parker decided to be proactive and correct the employees' misconceptions by explaining the contours of the state trespassing laws and the First Amendment right to film. Deputy Parker turned what otherwise would have been an unproductive interaction into a learning opportunity, and hopefully the employees will have a better understanding of the law as a result of this interaction, and avoid needlessly calling the police over non-criminal matters in the future. I commend Deputy Parker for not only knowing the law and upholding it, but also choosing to educate citizens about it. Mr. Gear gets an A because although he expressed a partially incorrect argument about the utility poles, he remained controlled and respectful throughout the encounter, did not attempt to escalate the situation or provoke anyone involved, and did not yield his right to film despite interference from the oil company employees. It should also be noted that Mr. Gear made use of the available GIS data to do the appropriate research before coming to film and ensured that he did not cross the oil company property line or otherwise violate the law. Unfortunately, auditors sometimes fail to adequately prepare themselves for their auditing activities, and then because of their lack of knowledge about the law. Factual information such as property lines engage in criminal or otherwise illegal conduct while attempting to conduct an audit. Not only does this put the auditor at risk of arrest, it also undermines the credibility of the entire auditor community in the minds of the officers involved in such an encounter. I would encourage other auditors and constitutional activists to learn from Mr. Gear's example and make sure to do whatever research is necessary to ensure that they remain in compliance with the law. Thank you very much for watching the video. Subscribe our channel for next video.